1970年2月8日，他生下了第二个儿子鲁克·道蒂。
The role that Audrey Hepburn played best in life, in a lot of ways, was mother. She was, by all of the testimony of her two sons, the ideal mother.
但就在奥黛丽悉心照料儿子的时候，有传闻说她的丈夫有了外遇。为了挽救婚姻，她离开银幕长达5年。
To protect her family from the pressures of her career, she withdrew from public life for the next 5 years.
Audrey had chosen to retire when she married for the second time, and she presumed that her career was in part responsible for the failure of the marriage. She was determined not to risk the second marriage.
But by
1975年，45岁的奥黛丽再也不能对她婚姻中的问题视而不见。
There was the absolute need for her to divorce. It was perhaps, in her mind, the greatest failure of her life.
奥黛丽重新回到银幕疗伤，这时她已有8年没演电影了。
Hello, John. You go in. I never really said goodbye. She might be angry. Better yet, leave it for another day.
You there? What in the hell do you want?
This is Kirkley Abbey.
Right you are, and I'm the abbess. Who are you?
Good God, it's Marion.
Run.
Marion, what are you doing in that costume?
Living in it.
Well, I've come home to you, Marion. The wars are over. I'm here.
Well, it's Mother Janet now, and you can trot right back to Jerusalem.
You're angry?
Not with you. I haven't thought of you in 20 years.
Well, give me a smile and invite me in.
Come back tomorrow. I'll be gone. The sheriff's coming for me, and I'm off to prison.
这部影片是奥黛丽个人的一次胜利。影片的成功让她重新成为一名有竞争力的演员。然而，这并不能抹去婚姻再次失败给她带来的阴影。一直缺乏安全感、对爱的渴求比别人更强烈的奥黛丽开始相信，执子之手，与子偕老，只是一个美丽的谎言。
Audrey and I met at the end of 1979. At a time that was really very difficult for both of us. My wife had died several months before, and Audrey was destroyed by a failed marriage, very reluctant to cause Luca any pain. I think it was very frightening for Audrey, and she was content to just be friends at first, which is all that I wanted at the time as well.
奥黛丽和罗伯特被共同的不幸连接在一起，两人相爱。
Some of our friends regarded us as antisocial. Days at home would be very, very leisurely. Stroll in the afternoon in the vineyards with the dogs, a swim if the weather allowed it, and then at night a friend or two, and that's what gave her the most pleasure.
Surrounded by friends, family, and a new man in her life, Audrey had found contentment. But the stars long
生活在家人、朋友和一个新的男人的关爱下，奥黛丽心满意足。虽然她还会时不时回到好莱坞。1979年出演影片《血线》，1981年出演影片《哄堂大笑》。奥黛丽最喜欢的还是修剪花园、读书，还有和小狗玩耍。1989年，在她再次息影8年之后，导演斯蒂芬·斯皮尔伯格成功地劝说她回到银幕，出演了浪漫言情片《直到永远》。
I remember that Stephen was trying to figure out who could be God or the angel of heaven. Who could ever pull that off? He said, Audrey Hepburn. And everyone went, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Comfy around the neck?
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, how did I get out of that one?
You didn't get out, Pete.
I didn't. Now I'm sitting here in the woods getting my hair cut. Well, either I'm dead or I'm crazy.
You're not crazy, Pete.
It wasn't just rolling out some old legend. It was an honor to be there and an honor to be in her presence.
尽管奥黛丽重回银幕受到肯定，但她对演艺事业已经没有什么兴趣了。现在她在乎的角色是联合国儿童基金会的亲善大使。奥黛丽第一次愿意牺牲自己珍视的隐私，利用她的名气呼吁人们对儿童问题更多的关注。当她还是个孩子的时候，在战争和饥饿中得到了联合国的救助，她不仅铭记在心，而且觉得自己有义务进行回报。43岁时，奥黛丽曾代表联合国儿童基金会出使过索马里。战争和饥荒带来的巨大破坏也给她留下了深刻的记忆。
There to witness the massive devastation of civil war and famine.
Audrey always chose to go where the conflict was the harshest. She didn't do it as Audrey Hepburn. She did it as a woman, as a mother, as somebody who saw the human family in jeopardy.
奥黛丽代表那些饥饿的儿童，在国会上以及公益活动中发表了许多次感人肺腑的演讲。
You know, she suffered enormously inside because she was so warm and compassionate. And we talked about children, particularly with AIDS, and mothers with AIDS, because she knew how involved I was in that. I mean, she'd seen children dying from everything. And to see mothers with their dying young, knowing Audrey, it must have broken her heart, but she kept going back. And she kept helping and pushing and driving herself, even when she was frail.
The last trip to Somalia must have been so painful. And I think the interview she did with Charlene Hunter Galt, she raised the cause of Somalia more than any other person when she returned and expressed her grief and despair at their suffering. I've seen it happen. And I'm filled with a rage at ourselves. I don't believe in collective guilt, but I do believe in collective responsibility.
The graciousness and the simplicity with which she lived her life was really like she'd had a second chance, a second lease on life, having been saved by what was UNICEF after the war. I think that's the reason why she went back to UNICEF at the end of her life and decided to give back.
It's safe to say that Audrey Hepburn is the person who made the world aware of Somalia.
It wasn't something she enjoyed doing. She wanted to, though. She wanted to bring that message to the world, that how simple it was to help children.
当这位走下银幕的女演员全身心地帮助别人的时候，她自己的健康状况却突然恶化了。
And was later admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles.
Knowing that she had contracted something, and she was ill from Somalia, that is to be expected. And we wished her well and knew that she'd get over it. What we didn't know is that it was cancer.
The illness developed so suddenly and totally unexpectedly that it was very difficult for us to comprehend. And we were told that she had only 3 months to live, which Sean, Luca and I, of course, absolutely resisted. We said it can't be. Life is much too precious to be taken away, just like that.
We were very fortunate to live out the last few months of her life, having the ability to say all the things you want to say at those times. And so when she passed on, as sad as it was, she had all talked us into the fact that it was a normal and natural phase of life. And so we kept the good and left the sadness behind in a way to celebrate her life as well.
On January 20th,
1993年1月20日，奥黛丽·赫本平静地在家中去世。今天，在她最后告别的地方，立了一块简单的墓碑，离她心爱的家不远。
The best remedy for those who are afraid, lonely, or unhappy is to go outside, somewhere they can be quiet, alone with the heavens, nature, and God. As long as this exists, and it certainly always will, I know there will always be comfort for every sorrow. And I firmly believe that nature brings solace in all troubles.
She was the best that we could possibly be. She was perfectly charming and perfectly loving. She was a dream. And she was the dream that you remember when you wake up smiling.
What a lovely heritage she's left in this world. The films people can see and the joy that she gives them.
She was a living embodiment of the best in the human heart, the human mind and soul. And I think people drew sustenance from that.
谈她的美丽，谈她的电影，谈她水晶般的心灵。奥黛丽·赫本，一个爱的天使，一个落入凡间的精灵。走进她，走进一段温馨的回忆。